Beautiful Wednesday. I don't know what's happening in this country, but I honestly think that ECG is being most unfair to us. These days, you are not too sure when the lights go off. Sometimes just when you're about to hit the sack, it goes off. Or sometimes when you are in bed, because the weather is cold, they put the lights off. So I don't know, but ECG, for whatever fault there is, I don't know what faults it for, because we're told it's not doom, so it's doom CAC, but it's becoming one too many. Yabremo, we're tired. Keep the lights on, because you're collecting prepaid money from us. So keep the lights on for us. It's as simple as that. Yesterday, we launched See Something, Say Something. And you could tell from the demeanor of all the big people there that we're in a serious situation. Because all around us, people have been attacked. The nations have been attacked. So it's a serious matter. And the song in the background says, raise your scepter, your people are dying. So we are being asked to see something and say something. It's a good thing. It's a very good thing that we are allowing people and telling them to be alert and to report and giving them numbers and all of that. It's good. It's a good call. I support it 100%. But what are the prerequisites that could possibly, because we're told that the possibility of getting our people recruited is high. It's possible. So we are talking to the imams, we are talking to the pastors, we're telling them that they should work on the minds of their people and to sensitize them and all of that. It's fantastic. I want us to drill down further. Get intelligence officers. Get counterterrorism officers. Take them to the churches. Let them educate the people. Sundays, ask for 5 minutes from the pastor or 10 minutes from the pastor and educate the people. Free consultants, free advice. I won't collect money for this one. So beyond the public speech, beyond the see something, say something, and the hashtag, which we are very good at, I want us to drill it down, go to the people. But as I said, there are prerequisites. An hungry man is an angry man. Have we, for example, sat and thought that the NAPCO guys, the NSS guys, the unemployed guys and women could be a possible conduit for these terrorists if they are not already here? Have we thought about it? That somebody is hungry, doesn't have a place to lay their heads. We promised them rent, we have not paid. Food is so expensive, they cannot afford it. If they had somewhere they laid their head, the rains have come and destroyed it. They are distressed, they are traumatized. There is no national social protection policy that embraces them and gives them a certain warmth and confidence and reassurance. When people are vulnerable like that, the counter-terrorists will tell you that they are the very ones who will become susceptible to these advances by these terrorists. So we must be complete in our processes. 2, there were 463 guns that were seized at the airport, at the port. You remember them? 436 or so pistols. 436, that's the figure. Seized at the airport. Have we concluded that matter? I remember my good friend Jones Apple of the, the Small Arms Commission then, who had mentioned that pistols are weapons of precision, that it is one man, one gun. Now we are reading that somebody had 5 guns, pump action guns, and he has even wielded it forever. So there are guns in illegal hands. There are guns that people registered once, they have not re-registered, they are still keeping them, they are not renewed their licenses, they are holding them. All these are red flags. And again, we are asked to see something and say something. If you see something and say something, will you walk free or will you not? Oliver Bakavoma on my mind. The same things that Mr. Bakavoma said, perhaps had been even said in a more aggravated sense by Reverend Owusu Bempa. The police, he has said it twice. The police has not invited him. I have nothing against anybody. I'm just saying that we must be complete in our processes and we must be fair and balanced if we want people to support. So see something, say something, good initiative. And I wish that every Ghanaian will be part of it. But number one, drill down into the churches and the organizations. Get your counter-terrorism experts to talk to people and let them, and let's stop this talk about backpack. When somebody comes to a place with a backpack, you are not too sure. People can blast places with something small as a pen like this. So let the experts be the one doing the talking. Don't put political flavor in it. That's all. Now, the floods have come again. It rained on Saturday. It rained on Sunday. It rained on Saturday. It rained on Monday. It got into Tuesday. I am looking for just one of our assemblies out of the whole lot, over 261 that we have in this country. I'm looking for just one assembly that has said that, oh, as DCE or MCE, I have designated this area, and that is my evacuation or holding center. I'm providing warm meals. I'm providing shelter for people whose homes have been swept away by the rain. And I'm providing psychosocial support for my people who the president has nominated me and who the assembly has endorsed me to be their boss. I take their property rate, I take their business operation permit, I take their market tolls, I take everything else that they can afford to pay. Now they are in distress. The people are asking, where are evacuation centers? Are people whose homes and kitchens have been swept away like Mr. Mingle, are they getting a warm plate of food? We made a big fuss about it in COVID. We fed people for 3 weeks in Accra, Kumasi, Tema, and Kaswa, and we gave a huge bill. Now the time is right. People need food. People need shelter. People need psychological support. We are not giving them. And you see, we'll keep talking about floods until tomorrow. Because I believe that the essence of dredging the Odo and other canals to make it, to make the water flow, is actually a wasteful venture. And I'll tell you why. Yeah, it's a wasteful venture. Because you can dig the Odo today, in 48 hours, 72 hours, you will still get silt in it. Why? Because the places on the mountains, the Blekusu area, the Bri area, all those places in Swam, nobody in Accra wakes up when it's raining and decides to take headpans of sand to pour into the rain. Nobody does that. But you end up seeing that the water is colored and the water has, what do you call it? Sand in it. The silt in it. It gets into the Odo, it chokes it. What that means is that if the capacity of the Odo is, say, 100 cubic meters, and the silt in it, it reduces the capacity of same. I told you I went to the mountains. The places that I know were green in the past, serene and cool, and were providing a certain comfort and solace, are all being turned into concrete jungles at top speed. The same people who are here telling you we are going to plant trees, same people who are telling you see something, say something, same people who are telling you that we have a green plan, are the same people buying lands up there and building mansions and concrete jungles. So they tell you one thing and they do another thing. I am not anti-rich. But where the hill, and if you're going towards the Bri area, right by the sharp curve, you see somebody, big house on top of the hill. Big house. And the cracks in the rock are beginning to show. We have put a mesh around it. We have put some clippings, but it is beginning to show. So yes, we have allowed the top to be dug. It is no longer green. It is becoming brown. When it rains, the water will sweep the silt and the sand straight down. It's coming to Accra. Guess what? The buffer areas around Ayi Mensa, Pantan, all those areas that used to hold the water, because it had a special vegetation that could have held the water back, so that whatever water had gathered in Accra could have gone into the ocean, and then this one will gradually come and meet it, has been inhabited as well. So we have a reverse. Instead of identifying, planning, building, and inhabiting, we have turned it. We identify, we live there immediately, then we start to plan. So that is the situation we have on our hands at this point. Forget about the lights that are not on that stretch of the Bri Road. I'm telling you something. That's it. That's the mesh. See, it's falling apart. It's coming apart. And people are being allowed to dig at the top. People are being allowed to dig at the top. Ebri is becoming brown. Kitasi is becoming brown. Konkonuru is becoming brown. All the places they are becoming brown. The people who sit in Accra and make the policies are the ones buying the lands there and they are friends. So I was telling you something. Water rushes down there. Instead of staying around the Ayi Mensa, Pantan, all those areas that used to be the buffer, it now rushes down. So what had gathered in Accra had not gone into the ocean. This one comes to add up. The volumes, cubic meters increases. And that is what you find in people's homes. Because the areas around Ringway Estate, Adabraka, Awudome, Dansoman, the rest, Abosoka, they didn't used to flood like this. So are we getting to the point where it won't rain in Accra, but Accra will get flooded? Are we getting there? That's the first one. The second one is the lip service that the assemblies pay. And they put me off when you have assemblies telling you that, oh, people have built in waterways. What were you doing? Were you in slumber? Were you hallucinating? What were you doing? It is your job to allow or disallow a building from springing up or otherwise. You have the capacity to go to court within 14 days after you have written stop work to go and get a court order to demolish whatever building there is. You sit and watch some of your staff are complicit in collecting bribes from people and they even supervise the buildings at night. Tell me I'm telling lies. So that is where we are now. You are part of the problem. And if you still have bylaws that are not green friendly, change it. In this day and age, people will submit their plans to you and there's no green area in the house. There's no plant for trees, nothing. It's all tiles and concrete and pavement blocks and you're happy and you approve it in this day and age. That is why people have walled houses, but their homes still get flooded because when the water hits, it doesn't seep into the ground. It's common sense. I am not an engineer. I'm just applying my common sense. And it doesn't make sense to me that in this day and age, we're still doing this. Why can't we create an incentivized situation where somebody who is living greenery in their homes could be giving a price slash of whatever they have to pay for their building permit so that whoever is not living the greenery in their home pays more? Discourage people from keeping their homes all tiled up and using more ACs. When we plant trees, the air will be fresh. Our carbon dioxide will be absorbed by the trees, will give us oxygen to breathe. We will have windshields by the trees. We will all be safe and sound and secure from all alarm. You see why the big people are not complaining? Their homes have not been inundated. That's why they are not complaining. That's why they don't care. That's why more than 72 hours on, there's no evacuation center. There's no warm meal. There's no psychosocial support. So you have to wise up. Now, I'm wrapping up on this quick matter. The Achimota Forest has come up in the conversation. Danny, play that song from Wulome, Under 8. I want to speak to my Ghana people. Achimota Forest has not been sold, but it is in somebody's will. You get the common sense? Achimota Forest, it has not been sold, but it has been willed. The Ramsar site has not been sold, but it has also been willed. And the lands ministry it promises to do an inquisition into whether or not the lands are sold, they are owned. And then in between, the lands commission gets flooded, documents get missing. And then the day after, they come and tell us there's no evidence of document to back any claim that we own land. You see the narrative? Plot the graph. Then afterwards, Sir John's will or purported will tells us that, I jointly own the plot with a certain Charles Owusu. Lands ministry goes to look for Sir John's property and says we can't find any, but they don't look for Charles Owusu's property. Does it make sense to you? Is it coming together? They tell us that the will and the properties are a matter of litigation, but they don't tell us who is in court. And they don't take advantage also to say that, it is not only Sir John who perhaps owns property there, but when we checked the whole Achimota Forest, we found that there are 18, there are 10, there are 15, there are 20, there are 25 people who own lands there. So you see the facade, and then they close it and say, when it becomes necessary in future, we'll investigate. You have an opportunity now, win the confidence of the people. You are doing kwani, koni. Now, to my Ghana people, in Yemen, in papa me ken mami me ken ni me ken na kanswa me ken na shushu me game ne jeko lala ake gan ya ne wele anye no akesakisi efomo wo shikpono ni a floletomo yalabo ni nyetashi nyenkwe nyemiejala nyenyenye fie kome ake ablekuma eba neba kumawo nicho akeke gbo eba oba flame aka ablekuma ba neba komawo aka ablekuma ba neba kumawo aka ba komawo no wonye trashi je ngme na ajenshi je yinone ajenshi eche akologan shikponji fe awole chain homes awole neke awole gbe different akola shikpon chado awole gbe aja akpitile tomo chips ya la shishi ninye tashi nyenkwe ninye bi kenye nabi amena ko pota flat na ba kashi na bawo nye shikaji nyeke chake lole meme 4x4 chuchu 4x4 negbo bo den che ola ko nyo maintain 4x4 ke ko ya 4x4 2 plot 2 acres mi ni gba wona many ba shikpo yi na meke hawo ke amenja shikwen oni ne ba sheku no na ka oye lubono wo yen mo shikpo interest ko ni ke wo se bi ba ha me shikpo ko bo ba no ja shikpo keke ka fi aba ala ka nye fi ofi aba ke o nye shikpon ko kan bi e nye se amla lokode ba ho e baba bishpon ne ke ba fi ne ke no ena ne ke ba fi no nye anya hi anya shikpon ke nye te nya hi keke a chose keke a anya no ko fi keke a shikpon nye keke a meja kwa mo shikpon jin pote ni yogan no kwa ke gamenye yo na kan shikpon jin. I'm not being tribalistic, I'm being realistic. And no crossing keje gan no ya not there no kwa kashi boni me kokro me ni gbogbo ni ameba ablekuma ni wo okuma me ni bia na e komo wo naka yo ya he kokro me lo ya no pe no wo yeti ahye akegan ya eba sheko to bona je shobo na ton ta flache ekua peptri ka sante twi ye gan shikpon no ye gan school and record ewie ye bo letwe mi manomi na chon ekwapim twi ka asante twi ye gan school na egbo ba ya asante mano na cho gan me school na egbo ba ya chi mano na cho gan alo ayigbe na egbo ba ya ye western region na cho gan na egbe no wotefete ni wo na ehyewo no akewo wiemon ya akewo shikpon ya akewo nunyan ya akewo bulen ya ni wotashi ni won fe hinti won no kesha omowa to abele fio ke mutru fio ke ka ba laka o ke lamle ke dan fio akba laka an wo shika fio ke won twa wodi yeti ashe twa no manya bla